Kwa hiyo waamuzi wenu mmeamua kuwa muende kanisa.
Sio tu shuleni kwa sababu elimu si mpango wa Mungu.
Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe?
Siendi kwa sababu elimu si mpango wa Mungu.
Elimu sio
mpango wa Mungu.
Well, villagers recount their first encounter with Paul Mackenzie in 2015, his Good News International Church, capturing a sizable number of believers.
The term cult most often refers to a group of people, usually with a typical beliefs living in relative isolation from the world. Each cult has its own distinctive focus, but most of all these groups share some elements in common that I will talk about after this. Today I've said let me break from the norm, from the scam videos, wash videos. Let's do this story about Pastor Mackenzie, because I think even in this side, religion and all these other things, we need to stay woke, man. Stay woke is about staying woke in every aspect of life. So for those who haven't heard about Pastor Mackenzie, I'll just go very fast into this. But before that, welcome so much guys. I'm your guy Mzima Wells. Ndani ya Zimax Media's Stay Woke series, and leo sina story nyingi. Let's just get straight into the video.
Mimi ndio servant PN Mackenzie. Nilikuwa mhubiri na nilikuwa mhubiri from 2003.
Good News International Church founder Paul Mackenzie has been trending for all the wrong reasons. These after mass graves were found at his land in Shakahola. Before he became a pastor, Mackenzie worked as a taxi driver under Pearl Garden taxis near Malindi police station. At the time, he didn't even attend a church. So far, 38 bodies have been discovered. Many might wonder who Mackenzie is, but what is more worrying is the things he asked his followers to do. Number 1, stop children from going to school.
Wewe kidogo waulize, nyinyi mnaenda kanisa gani? Inaitwaje? Kwa hiyo mnaamini kuwa muende hospitali kwa mgonjwa, muende shule.
Hospitali, hatuna marembo. Hiyo yote hatufanyi kwa sababu hiyo ni mali ya dunia.
Pastor wewe yuko wapi?
Pastor yuko hapo.
Kanisa inaitwa, yeye amewaambia msiende kanisa.
Si yeye ametuambia. Biblia linasema sasa wewe vile zote soma hiki kitabu.
Na wazazi wako wapi? Mko wangapi sasa wala munaenda hiyo kanisa hivi?
Wako wengi sana. Acha tuko kidogo.
Wewe unaenda?
Na wengine hawajakuja.
Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe unaenda? Wewe?
Siendi kwa sababu elimu si mpango wa Mungu.
Elimu sio
mpango wa Mungu.
Number 2, ban all school certificates. Number 3, women were not to shave. Number 4, sick people were not to be taken to the hospital to seek treatment. Number 5, to live within his land, now famously known as Shakahola. Number 6, fast to death, as it is one way to see God. 14 more bodies were over the weekend retrieved from the graves of people believed to have died as a result of fasting due to cult-like teachings of Malindi controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie in Shakahola, Magarini. This brings to 21 the number of bodies that have been retrieved by the homicide unit, DCI detectives and other security personnel. 5 bodies believed to be belonging to one family were found in one grave. In another grave, 3 bodies were found on top of each other. We found a man, a woman and 3 children in one grave, a detective said. In the bodies exhumed, children were more as compared to adults. By Friday, 58 graves had been identified. A team of about 100 officers led by the homicide unit director, together with a pathologist, officers from the DCI, the forensic department, and regular police are leading the operation. The public was not allowed at the crime scene, and journalists were also given instructions on how to conduct themselves at the scene. After about 2 hours of digging, there were indications that there were bodies, and carefully, one body of a grown-up was found, followed by 2 bodies that had been buried in one grave. That site was identified on Thursday. Human rights activists from àccre Africa and Malindi Social Justice Center also witnessed the exhuming process. Matthias Shipeta of àccre Africa said they are happy with the progress made so far by the security agencies. Yeah, so what we are seeing in Malindi, this is actually some type of religious extremism or cults that those who are inside will not know they're in a cult. In fact, there's a guy who was interviewed. He said he's not ready to leave the cult. He will follow whatever they're being taught. So it rings a bell on a certain kind of a cult that was back in 1970s. If you've heard of the JonsTown massacre that happened in the 1970s in Guyana, it applies the same principles. For those who haven't heard about that, I've compiled a short video here for you to see that how similar they were. The JonsTown massacre by Jim Jones.
Started as an effort by a charismatic preacher to build a new society, but it ended, of course, with the tragic deaths of more than 900 people.
The story of JonsTown begins with Jones, a white minister who preached unconventional socialist and progressive ideas to a predominantly African-American congregation called the People's Temple. At the height of its popularity in the 1970s, the temple had a membership estimated in the thousands and was courted by local politicians in San Francisco, including Harvey Milk. But by 1977, Jones had grown paranoid from the media scrutiny of the temple's suspicious activities. So he and his numerous followers moved to an agricultural settlement, aka JonsTown, in Guyana, the remote country east of Venezuela. Concern over the welfare of those in the jungle encampment prompted U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan to visit JonsTown in November 1978. After checking out the settlement, Ryan was shot to death along with 4 other people by temple gunmen at an airstrip. Following those murders, Jones commanded his followers to drink cyanide-laced punch, starting with the children first. In all, there were over 900 who died in JonsTown, including Jim Jones, who was found dead of a gunshot wound to the head. There's speculation that he may have taken his own life, or that his nurse, Annie Moore, fatally shot him before she killed herself in the same manner. Actually, this thing prompted the president of Kenya, William Ruto, who broke silence on this matter, and he had some few things to say about the cult.
People who are masquerading as religious people, yet what they do is contrary to the teachings and to the beliefs of religion. There is no difference between Mr. Mackenzie, who pretends and postures as a pastor when in fact he is a terrible criminal. And I have instructed the agencies responsible to take up the matter and to get to the root cause and to the bottom of the activities of religious or people who want to use religion to advance weird, unacceptable ideology.
He insisted that if any religious group preaches against the tenets of the Constitution, those responsible should be prosecuted. Some few elements that identify a cult. You could be at risk, if you're a believer, you could be at risk of being in a cult. So let me give you some few elements. Maybe you're in one and you don't know. I will not mention names of churches or names of pastors, but I'll give you this element that will make you know that, damn, I could be in a cult, man, but I don't know. So these are the elements. Number 1, they have authoritarian control. Cultism hinges on encouraging maximum dependency. People in the cult must feel incapable of living an individual life outside the norms of the group. These beliefs often go hand in hand with a worshipful attitude toward the group's authoritarian leader. Number 2, extremist beliefs. Cult members hold on to very dogmatic and extreme beliefs. They are also very unable to question these belief systems without fear of reprisal or punishment from the leader or other group members. Number 3, isolation from the society. As soon as new members join a cult, other adherents work hard to isolate them from family members and friends. This helps fulfill the mind control aspirations of the leader. It also creates a hive mind of sorts between the new person and other members. Number 4, veneration of a single individual. Charismatic leaders are often at the center of most cults. Consider the Manson family of the late 1960s. As the name suggests, they adopted the beliefs of their leader, Charles Manson, and fulfilled his request. The same pattern repeats in almost all other cults. So guys, man, cool NJ, you guys take care. You could be in a cult and you don't know. If you have these charismatic leaders, there is mind control. They control what you dress, how you speak, what you listen to, what you watch. They control almost every aspect of your life. And once you are in there, they will try to isolate you from the family. So you're just seeing this leader as a sole leader. Then within no time, they create a rift in between you and your family, you and your friends. And then they get to a point where they are exclusive. They try to create a we versus them. Them is those people who are not in that cult. So you start seeing yourself as very enlightened people, like the chosen few. Ukifika that point where you're seeing yourself as that, man, you just know you're in a cult. Yeah, I know there are many cults outside here. Even in this Kenya, ziko nyingi sana, so it's just for you to know how they operate. Yep. So man, that's it about today. Keep safe, man, and stay woke. Because all these things, you need to be woke. You need to be alert, man. You need to be alert. Look at these things happening. All the graves, all the death. People are being told to fast until they die for them to see their maker. Come on, man. You gotta use your brain, man. Let's meet next time in our normal Stay Woke series as we expose more scams. Yes, coming up will be our final episode in this season 1. Yes, of Stay Woke, and there are bigger things coming. Yep. See you, man, in the next video. I'm your guy Mzee Miles, and always keep safe and hustle hard. Peace.